All right, ladies and gentlemen, up next, we have a topic of increasing significance, the concerning trend of scams and why they seem to be on the rise. So we are going to delve into the tactics that scammers use, identify who's most at risk, and more importantly, how do you protect yourself from scammers? So our panel of experts for this session, allow me to introduce them. First, I'd like to welcome Wahidatul, Abdah, Aminul, Rashid, the Deputy Director of Communications and Postal Regulation at MCMC. And joining her is Encik Jawahar Ameer, General Manager of Consumer and Investor Office at the Securities Commission Malaysia. And moderating this discussion is Puan Sahlawati Mustafa, General Manager of the Regulatory Services Division, FIMM. Please put your hands together to welcome them to the stage.
You can post your question as Slido, and I will try to answer as many as I can during the session. Please keep this session interactive as far as possible. Okay, right. Before we start our panel session, let me share some statistics reported out there when it comes to scam cases. So according to the Royal Malaysia Police, Malaysia saw a drastic increase in online scams, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. From 2020 to May 2022.
Hai, ini adalah panggilan dari LHDN. Anda mempunyai bayaran cukai tertunggak bagi tahun 2022. Sila hubungi kami di 03-7890-4242 secepat mungkin bagi mengelakkan sebarang tindakan undang-undang diambil.
Okay, we are going somewhere. I hope it is. Anyway, by the way, just to clarify that is not a technical glitch, and no one is going to get fired for that, right? So, okay, I hope that interruption has woken you up a little bit, yeah? Since this is a session after lunch. So, continue on with that interruption. Let's go to the first polling question. So, I'm just going to give a break to the panel speakers first. Let's go to the first polling question, rather. This is just to gauge in terms of how many of you have been ever approached by a scammer? 100%.
Shocking.
I would rephrase that to say that how many have been approached by a scammer today?
Today.
That's over there.
Yeah, it's probably 100% as well, right? Anyway, well.
Suddenly reduced to 98%.
98? Okay, there were 2 people who were lucky. Anyway, so one thing for sure, at least you know you got scammed, right? And I hope after this session, if you got scammed, or people tried to scam you, but it didn't work, right? Or probably you got scammed, you know where to go to as a recourse, as to actually help or actually listen to you in terms of your predicament. Right, okay, let me continue before the interruption earlier on. Okay, a couple of days ago, the Deputy Governor of BNM, Bank Negara Malaysia, called for a cyber hygiene and shared that in about a year period, e-commerce scams reported the highest loss at 4 million ringgit, followed by telecommunication scams at 3.15 million, e-finance scams at 2.55 million, and investment scams at 1.47 million. Of course, there are other statistics, but I think for the purpose of today's discussion, I'm just going to stop there. So with that backdrop, perhaps we can start with Puan Wahida from MCMC. Welcome again. Maybe you can provide an overview on what MCMC does, particularly on scam-related matters, because I, for one, is not very familiar.
Sure. Thank you, Moderator. All right, before I start and before I justify on your question, anyone here do not know MCMC is? Raise up your hand. So everyone know MCMC, right?
Everyone knows? Oh, I'm the only one. It looks
Yeah, are you sure? Sorry? Because I saw someone raise up their hand. So you don't know MCMC is what? Okay. Have you familiar with the police internet? Someone who's blocked your WhatsApp, someone who's blocked your website, your Facebook, your account. Familiar with that? Do MCMC do that? No? There's no and yes answer? Yes? Yes or no? In general, are we doing that or not? Ada yang yes tadi. Alright, so basically it depends. It depends on the cases. Alright, in the nutshell, in general, for those who don't know MCMC, basically we are the regulator for communication and multimedia industry, as well as postal services and digital signature. Familiar, right? Sounds familiar, right? But we are not the police. Not the police of internet. No, we are not. Because anything that falls under crime or falls, still under the jurisdiction of PDRM. All right? Even though it is online or offline, it is still under the jurisdiction of PDRM. So in regards to what is the roles of MCMC play in mitigating this online fraud, so basically what we've done is that it depends. So basically the main point, the main rules that we do is that we provide technical assistance, such as when there is a request coming from the law enforcement agency, especially PDRM, Bank Negara, SC as well, and don't forget KPDNCP, because they are looking into the e-commerce platform provider, right? So we provide some sort of information to facilitate their investigation purpose. So we are not going to tracking or identify your location just simply like that. For example, if Mr. Jawahar asks me, Wahida, can you track my wife? Because I think my wife is missing and doing something behind my back. No, we cannot do that. All right? So basically, any request that we receive normally involve investigation only. All right? Other than that, we cannot do. The second one, basically what we do, we analyze the devices for a forensic purpose. And the last one, we implement section or regulatory instrument or guideline, which is under the provision of Communication and Multimedia Act. All right? So currently what we do is that as a concerted effort, MCMC together with the National Anti-Financial Crime Center, have you heard this NFCC before? No? Oh.
Yeah. There's a long way to go.
Because it's a financial crime center involving all the financial institutions, including Bank Negara Malaysia as well, AGC, SSM, and many other agencies as well. So they are leading all the financial crime issues. So right now they are leading the National Scam Response Center. Have you heard NSRC 997? Also never heard. Oh my God.
That's why we call you here.
I'll explain that later. Let me just justify and clarify further in regards to our basically assistance in regards to mitigating this online fraud. So what we did basically, we assist in terms of doing the blocking of mobile number and as well as tracking and identify where is the perpetrator is. So I think I stop here first. Okay. Later we will continue.
Sure. We have 1 hour or probably lesser now. Anyway, okay, let's not forget Encik Jawahar. Yeah, so welcome again. I understand that you have some slides to share today. Would you like to take us through that?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I would just like to start off by showing the predicament that our country is in now. I think that scam is so prevalent that you know it is. If you can see the statistics, that why is that thing blocked?
Can we just remove the? There's a bit of technical. So this is really technical glitch. So can we move the slide so that it can be 100% visible to the speaker? Thank you.
Yeah. So if I can just continue, so if you can see that
Thank you.
The number of complaints that the SC receives with respect to scam and unlicensed activities is on the rise, and it's on the rise on a yearly basis. If you can see for the first half of 2023 alone, the number of complaints and that we receive on unlicensed activities and scam, you know, it accounts to about almost 60% of the total complaints that the SC receives as a whole. We have seen this thing evolving. It actually kind of started, it kind of like blew up, if I may, at the turn of the pandemic, around end of 2019, and in 2020, it kind of like, shot up. Prior to that, we were not really seeing this many. They were, but they weren't this many. So during the turn of the pandemic, it kind of shot up. And we can attribute this due to the financial predicament that the Malaysian public were in during that time. And also due to a lot of people were in lockdown, boredom, so this kind of perpetuated it. So we thought that maybe it's one of those things that which will see a decline, but unfortunately no. You see, so we are seeing an increasing trend, and we are also seeing a change in pattern, whereby earlier what we saw was that a lot of these schemes. A majority of it, or 99% of it, they are all carried out through social media. Social media. So how essentially starts off is that you will be crawling your social media, your Facebook and whatever. Suddenly, a Facebook ad will pop up. So the Facebook ad will essentially say, "Oh, are you interested in an investment opportunity?" And then you will be then taken to communicate or to text with through on a WhatsApp platform directly with the scammer. So the Facebook is just used as a tool to try to bait the victims. So once the victim has been, a potential victim has been brought on to the WhatsApp platform, they will then the victim will start to, the scammer will start to send messages. Oh, this is an amazing investment opportunity. And what we are seeing now, sadly, investment opportunities, scams, which goes to the likes of, you invest 300 ringgit and you will get the return of 5,000 ringgit within 3 hours. Yes, we can laugh. You see, at first, when my team, this is back in 2020, when my team came and told me, these are the times we're going, I told them, no, this is ridiculous, nobody would believe this, it is just maybe 1 or 2 will fall for it, but no, you see, and it is this kind of a scam keep on coming. So once you're on the WhatsApp, you'll be communicating on the WhatsApp, and then, the victim will be asked to transfer money into a mule bank account. Okay, so this is how they typically operate. So they will not be asked to bank in money into the bank account, the official bank account of the licensee or the intermediary, but to the mule bank account. So this is the typical MO that we always see. You can see on the slide here. This is how it is too. So previously it was a lot on Facebook and WhatsApp, but of late we see a lot of it is done through the Telegram application. Yeah. So this is typically how we see the scams are being perpetrated.
All right. Okay. So any specific trends you observe involving consultants? Because we also have consultants here as part of participants.
Okay, since given the audience, there are two things. One, I'm here in the hope of all of you being the agents. All right. So once you hear from us, what is it that's a scam? What are the things to look out for? You can go out and you spread the message to your clients, to your family members, and whatnot. Yeah. And the other thing is that when you talk, is that when we manage to stop all these scams, when we manage to curb all this, because we see the amount that we're talking about is in the billions, and if we manage to stop that, then the amount there's an opportunity for the industry to grow. Okay, now the type of scams, I wouldn't use the word scams, but what we see involving unit trust consultants is that they also promote, some of them, yeah. We have also seen cases, I don't want to generalize, we have also seen cases where unit trust consultants were promoting unlicensed activities. You see, when you talk about unlicensed activities, when we talk about scam, what I mentioned just now, the 300 ringgit, you get 5,000 ringgit. That's a pure scam. Atau kalau dalam bahasa polis, dia orang kata pelaburan tidak wujud. Okay, but then there are other types of investment opportunities like forex, the applications where you can purportedly trade in foreign shares, US shares and whatnot. So we see some unit trust agents are promoting that. Now remember, you see, you are in a position of trust. You see, so when your clients, they say, oh, you are a unit trust consultant, you are registered with FIMM, you are authorized to do so. So you are, you are in a position of trust. So the public will tend to rely and believe you. So do not do things other than what you are permitted to do with your registration.
Can I just add that I think as you all know, even though it's your money, you invest into unauthorized product, that is actually a violation of code of ethics as far as consultants are concerned. Right? So, so it's not just about you marketing unauthorized product, but even if you invest in those products, you can't do so. So just a reminder, sometimes people forget that point. Right. So I hope you take that on board. So perhaps I can go to Puan Wahida. So we can continue on later on, right? Okay. About that, you want, or you just want to proceed with the slides then?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe if I can just
sure.
continue with. So I've just explained to you the modus operandi or what we typically see with respect to scams. Yeah, with respect to scams, and as I mentioned just now, we can bucket it into two big categories: scams and unlicensed activities. So the scams are scams. The unlicensed activities are those that they claim, that, or rather, they could be licensed or registered in other jurisdictions. But in order for them to carry out their activity in Malaysia, they must be licensed by the Malaysian Securities Regulator. Okay, say for example, if you have seen the securities, these are all publicly available. The SC took enforcement action against several digital asset exchanges. DEX, the platform that allows you to trade cryptocurrency. Have you all heard of Binance? Huobi. So these entities, they are not illegal per se. They may be properly regulated or licensed by other jurisdictions. But in order for them to target Malaysian citizens, in order for them to carry out their activity in Malaysia, they must be licensed by the Securities Commission Malaysia. So what we do is that, and why we have to make sure that those who are targeting our Malaysian citizens are licensed, because two things. In order for you to be licensed, you need to fulfill a lot of requirements, conditions, and those who are carrying on the activity, like all of you need to sit for exams, right? So so we have to make sure that all this is fulfilled so that we allow people to trade. And of course, in the main is that if you are not licensed by the SC, and in the event of a dispute, you do not have recourse. You don't have where to go. Where do you go? So this is why we make sure, or we mandate that anyone that carries out the unlicensed activity must be licensed or registered by the SC, depending on the activity that you are carrying out. So what do we do? What do we do when we receive the complaints or inquiries? You see, we quickly realize, given the sheer number of the complaints that we receive, we, of course, parallelly, we will take enforcement action where we can, but we quickly realize that that's not going to cut it, because there are just too many of them and the money moved too quick that, if we were to, if you were to, and they're in the hundreds, it's just not feasible, and we don't have the resources to go and catch each and every one of them. So what we normally do is that, of course, as you can see, the enforcement action, but what we do is immediately, upon us realizing that a particular activity breaches our laws, either whether they're a scam or if they're carrying out unlicensed activity, we will put them on our investor alert list. Have any one of you been to our investor alert list? It's contained within the SC's website. The list essentially contains names of entities or even individuals, who are not licensed or to carry out the trade. So when they are doing it, we will put them on. So these are the people. This essentially, the list says, do not deal with these people, or these entities, if you're an
So
investor.
I'm going to interject there. I think there was a question from Slido who's asking, and we talk about, the increase of number of scams, right? So how is Malaysia compared to the world?
Actually, whatever that's happening is not exclusively to Malaysia. It's actually a global concern. So anywhere I go, if I go for any of these international conferences, even if I go to I was in Europe last year, and I was even in Singapore regionally and even internationally, globally, it is a concern. Every regulator is facing this problem. Everything they are suddenly the priority of all the regulators and the law enforcement agencies have been shifted to fighting these scams. Like how Puan Wahida mentioned just now, the 997, the special dedicated number, and we have also, mobilized all our resources, a lot of our resources, to concentrate and try to fight these scams.
Yeah, trust me, Cik Jawahar will be everywhere whenever there's a conference, when it comes to investors education. So I'm just going to let you rest a little bit and then come back and I'm going to ask Puan Wahida. So there was this news that was on Malaysia Kini. It says 2.4 billion suspicious calls over the past 6 years, 4,000 phishing websites taken down since 2020, 581 million unsolicited SMS messages have been blocked since 2020, 238,000 lines affiliated with suspicious SMS messages have been terminated since 2020. So these were the news that were reported in Free Malaysia today in terms of the action taken by MCMC. Could you share what would trigger MCMC to take down those websites, to block those calls or those messages?
Right. Basically, back in 2017, we have been alerted by the PDRM and Bank Negara as well in regards to the spike in financial crime. So as a preventive action, we undertake some sort of immediate action to provide a guideline, which is called as a regulatory instrument for the telco to implement immediately at the network level as a security enhancements towards any calls. During that time, basically, the highest scam that involved for financial crime is in regards to the phone scam. Basically on the call, right? I believe most of you here receive a lot of scam call, even until today, right? So basically, during that time, when it spiked, the use of Malaysian number 030904 has been used by the scammer to contact all the victims and then impersonate as a law enforcement agency such as PDRM, LHDN, also MCMC also being impersonated by the scammer as well. So what we did, we immediately give a directive to the telcos with certain criteria for them to block any suspicious call that coming from their network from not reaching to the consumer. So that's why most of the phone scam right now, they shifted to the SMSs. I believe all of you received the SMS scam, right? With the content of your credit card has been used, blah, blah, blah. And then there is a transaction made through any credit card basically that you don't own as well, right? And then the latest one, I think they shift to Carousel. They said you purchased through Carousel, and the latest one, I think they use what we call yang the news one tu, the content tu. Ada the latest one. Dia guna investment. Yang pinjaman tidak wujud tu ada. They're using the Telegram as you mentioned. Because why they shift to Telegram? Because we already block the SMSs that contain those keywords. That's why the shift goes to the Telegram, WhatsApp. What else did you say? You mentioned Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and then IRC. Do you know IRC? Who are here using Android smartphone?
Everyone. I think everyone.
So I thought everyone here use iPhone.
No, iPhone. Okay.
All right. So they shift towards the mobile phone devices instead of the normal SMSs. Basically, right now, you will receive those scam SMSs most probably through WhatsApp and Telegram. These two platforms currently being used heavily by the scammers. So beware. If you receive any SMSs that is not in your contact details or contact list, please ignore. So most probably is a scam.
So that's this question that comes in that actually says, what are the relevant authorities doing to curb people who are influencing via social media? I think, so under the so-called scroll IG dapat duit. I also want to do IG.
That one's more related to the job scam.
Job scam.
Yeah, job scam. So basically, we have talked with the Ministry of Financial as well in regards to this because it involves a lot of parties. As mentioned by Tuan Jawahar just now, it's not a one-man punya standing punya action. So it is a concerted effort that must be undertaken by all the stakeholders involved, not only MCMC, SC as well, and also all of you all here. Why? Because right now, as we mentioned, SC has done something at their part to regulate everything, every single things, including the agent as well. From MCMC point of view, we also regulate heavily, particularly on the telecommunication industry. But we need to be mindful that you as an end user also have a huge responsibility to be alert and to be more vigilant because at the end of the day, they can attack your own devices. So, understand?
I can
we
see
can
that.
control everything at network side.
Sure.
As I said, we can block the WhatsApp. If you want MCMC to move towards that direction, sorry lah, macam our minister also said they want to block TikTok, right? So we can go up to that.
I think Cik Jawahar wanted to add to that point as well.
Actually, what I wanted to say when you were mentioning just about the job scams and whatnot, what we see is that that the way that, or rather the MOs are actually evolving. So if I can just give you a few examples of what we have seen of late, quite recently. You see job scams, what it used to be is like macam, you click, you dapat, so RM5. So then this why when it came to us, it didn't concern the SC because we are the capital market regulator. We say this is nothing to do with us. So what you're seeing of late is that they start off like that. They start off by saying that, you will just have to click and then you post a review, you get RM5, RM10. And they get it. They will get it. So that is like a cost of doing business for the scammers. That's their, that's their capex. You see? So they will give you the RM5, they'll give you the RM10 up, Then once they've earned your trust, then they say, we got this amazing investment opportunity in cryptocurrency. Now, you have already received money from the scammers, you see. So you have the tendency to trust them, you see. But of course, the amount that you receive would be a very nominal sum. It's RM5, RM10, RM20. So then once they've earned your trust and then they move on to this investment scams, you see. So this is where, that's how they're evolving. Earlier, love scam also, you see a lot of the love scams where they, where they will go and post themselves as, in a uniform of a soldier and a navy and whatnot, and they try to,
picture. Using the very handsome guy.
Yeah, exactly, So that's how it happened. But then now they're all evolving to and also as I mentioned just now, they were using these mule bank accounts. That is if you were to bank in fiat money. But what we are seeing, they're even moving on to now. They don't want to. I mean, they're even using e-wallets. Where what they ask you to do is that you go and open up or you buy some bitcoins and transfer the bitcoin to me for the purposes of investment. They're trying to do anything and everything as possible. These are the things that we're seeing of late. You see, so that means they are just keep on, improving, and we have to, we as the regulator will have to keep track and continue to spread the message to create awareness. So so like how Puan said, you have to always be, curious and not. And before I finish, one say I say this in all the talks that I go to. So because sometimes we sit here, I say a lot of things in an hour, and you have to absorb too many things. But if there is one thing that you would want to take back, and to avoid falling victim to scam is that never ever transfer your money for the purposes of investment into an individual bank account. Yeah. So if you see that, because what we see is that most of the scams here, their main tool is the use of a mule bank account.
Or transfer cash as well, right?
Or transfer
Yeah, of
cash
course.
as well.
Yes, I would like to add on that. So basically, based on the current trend, since the NSRC has been established, they shifted from online transaction, they moved to the conventional, whereby they ask the victim to take out the money from the CDM and ask them to transfer the money also via CDM. So be aware, all right? So this is the current MO, because they know we'll be able to block it immediately through NSRC.
So I just have this question on MCMC. So it should have read it much earlier. It says, how fast MCMC to address the complaint from the consumer once submitted by email? So I'm not sure, is this MCMC job? Maybe you want to clarify that further.
No, I don't think so. It is under our jurisdiction, because I believe, as I mentioned just now, every crime, whether it's online or offline, is under the PDRM jurisdiction. We will assist as best as we can to assist them to facilitate their further investigation.
So you in terms of blocking all those scammers, the blogs, the websites, how fast typically would you actually do that?
Within 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, because we have a dedicated team that look into it 24 hours every day without fail.
See, I mean,
Including me as part of that force.
I would just like to echo, if you can see, one of the interventions that the SC takes is to block websites, and with the kind assistance of MCMC, we have managed to block, the whole of last year 185 fake websites, and half this year already 95 websites. So because we see a lot of these scams are perpetrated to websites, and we also have got a good working relationship with Meta, the owner of Facebook, to help us to block the offending Facebook and IG pages and whatnot.
Okay.
Aside from that, I would like also to encourage all of you here to do your own part, report directly to the application itself. Because it's much faster sebenarnya compared to us, but we need to do it officially. Kena hantar email lah, surat bagai and whatnot, right? Bureaucracy, of course. So basically, we really need your assistance to report. If you receive any spam SMS, any scam SMS through WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, immediately report through the application itself. Alright? Dekat setiap application tu, they have a report button. Do your part. Right?
Okay. I think that's a good point to actually bring up, since the audience that we have today, not just on consultants who attended this, but also the public, the users as well. So but consultants can also be scammed, right? Right, so I think that would be useful as well. So there's always this question about, you talk about doing enforcement, you talk about blocking the blogs and all those things. So there was this question, there are a few questions here that actually asked, what else? So my question to you, right? So does the regulator do enough?
It's very complicated to answer that. Subjective.
Well, depends who you ask. Well, of course, what we are trying to do is, as I mentioned just now, we are trying to keep ourselves, abreast of the whenever we highlight a new trend and whatnot, we try to work together. And I mentioned just now, we have moved away from reactive. When I say reactive, meaning to say we respond to a complaint. We respond. That means when we receive a complaint, we respond to it. But now, even with SC, with an SC, we rather than to just to respond to the complainants, we have also a dedicated team that now actively trawls the internet. So we have bought a system where it is not like your Google search. This is a bit more sophisticated, a bit more sophisticated
and
system.
learning, right?
It's a bit AI thingy and whatnot, where when you enter some of these key search words and whatnot, it will generate all these suspicious websites and suspicious this one. So even before if it reaches the public, we try to block it. Because one of the things that my team will do when they identify this, I'll ask them to check. You can do the who is thingy, the who is check and whatnot. So it will show that the website has only been set up for the past 2 weeks or past 1 month. So before it becomes prevalent and before it becomes cause more people to fall victim, we try to nip it in the bud. But whether we are doing enough, it's we will have to continue to do this relentlessly, and without fail, because it doesn't seem to be stopping, and we will not stop until we manage to significantly. We cannot eradicate it, let's be realistic, but to substantially reduce the number of scams.
And I think that's the reason why we need everyone to be aware about this and play their part, right?
Yeah, we need to shift the mindset instead of asking the regulator, are you done enough? And ask yourself whether you done enough to protect yourself or not.
That's
so I throw back the question to the audience.
All right. Anyway, okay. So there's this question about the adaptation, the increased usage and adaptation of digital technology. Are there specific online behaviors or habits that make certain investors more vulnerable to scams?
Well, okay. Based on the study that we have done, at least that we try to gather as much data as possible with respect to the demographics of the victims, namely where are they from, their age and whatnot. So there aren't anything that sticks out. There aren't anything that sticks out. That means that everyone can become a scam irrespective of their age. Maybe what we see was the age gap of 30 to 40 something, that we see a bit of a high, because these are the group of people that have got more money. They are a bit more, they are pre-retirement, we see a bit more. So, but really there isn't anything that to suggest that and sadly also we noticed that a lot of the Malay Muslims, the religious sentiments are being used, to perpetrate scams. They're like, we see a lot of the scam groups, they go only Patuh Syariah, this, and they use all kind of images of religious, leaders and whatnot to carry out the scams. You see, so I mean, these are the things that we see. But to answer your question, Puan, there isn't any. Anybody can become a victim to a scam. So they've got the type of scams to suit each segment of the population. It seems.
Okay, so we're going to take a slight break because I want to have this second polling question. Maybe we can put that up before we then grill our panelists today. Do you have the slider question in? So hopefully you can cast your vote. So do you know where to report if you have been scammed? It's a yes or no question. 52%. 52% is saying yes, so it's 50-50, not so sure. Right? Not so sure. Some probably didn't even report, right? So now, given the result now, it appears like, not so sure. So how do you, in terms of the where to report?
Right? So I think...
Yeah, maybe you can take that up. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so as I mentioned just now, I believe we have infographic in regards to this. Can we project that?
Infographic?
Yeah. Yeah, the 997. Can...
The 997. I think it's not.
All right,
yeah,
okay.
It's okay.
So actually, I prepared the infographic in regards to the NSRC 997, right? So basically, when you are the victim of any scam, right? So within 24 hours, kejap.
They're trying to
retrieve that. Habis WhatsApp lagi. So tak keluar kat sini. Wait.
Okay.
Right. So basically, you can report to 997 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. only as of now. We are looking towards to operate this NSRC within 24 hours. But it is subject to the agreement between all the agency involved. If you being scammed more than 24 hours, you still can report to PDRM. All right? Because they will take the case as a normal cases. Because normally, for any case that involve in investment scam, the issue is that because you are the one who willingly to invest, so only happen that if you don't gain any profit on it, and then you memang dah tahu it is a scam, right? Before that, you won't realize, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why it very challenges for the LEAs on behalf of PDRM. I cakap je. It is very difficult for them to assist you in regards to that because you are the one who give consent. You are the one who willingly, finally, right? So you are the one who willingly invest in that particular scheme, right? So anything that being authorized by yourself, it is something that very challenges for the others to approve. All right? Unless you memang dah sure, as mentioned by Tuan Jawahar just now, you dah check the KSC. It is a legit licensee. Kan? Memang dah foolproof. That one I take SC can take action immediately. No problem. If it is illegal, I don't think SC can take action on that. It's still under the PDRM jurisdiction as well. Alright? It is considered memperdaya you all to terjebak dalam the scheme. Alright? So as I mentioned, kalau benda tu berlaku less than 24 hours, immediately call 997. If it is more than 24 hours, through a normal report to PDRM. Alright? And then you can contact this hotline number, which is owned by the banks. It is operated 24 hours. Okay, this one. Okay, please capture all this mobile number so that you can know where to report if it is happened after 8 p.m. All right, so that the bank can assist you to block the transaction immediately. All right, okay. So other than that, I think
I
they
think
go to the normal process as well. Just go
Sure.
directly to the PDRM.
I just want to say, don't call 999.
Don't call 999. It's a must. 999.
Because that
call.
number goes somewhere else. Yeah?
Alright.
Okay, that's to emergency, medical emergency rather. Okay, so we have victims, right? And then some of these victims, they are probably embarrassed because, you know, some of them are actually not illiterate, you know, can be high flyer people, right? So what is, Cik Jawahar, perhaps, what is your advice to the public if they fall into a trap of a scammer?
Okay, the first things first, you know, when if you fall victim or you suspect to fall victim to a scam, let me see if I have a slide on that. No, okay. Well, if you were to suspect that you fall victim of scam, the first thing that you do is that do not transfer any further money. Okay, do not, of course, you know, because what we see is that how the scammers operate is that they will say that, you know, you just put in 500 ringgit, you know, and then you will get a return of 5,000. Contoh lah, 500 ringgit, you get 5,000. And then they will send you what do you call, a note to say that, oh, you know, a text to say, oh, you know what, the market has been excellent today, you have actually made 20,000 ringgit. But, you know, we have a small administrative charges that you need to pay. You know, you need to pay about 2,000 ringgit to withdraw your 20,000. You know, so you'll be thinking, hey, I mean, you know, in anticipation of you getting that 20,000 ringgit, you'll say, okay, I'll transfer the 2,000 ringgit. So if you already transfer 500 ringgit just now, you're transferring another 2,000 ringgit, and then they'll come and say, oh, there is another tax. You know, there's a tax element before we can release your profit. You know, so this is how they operate. So the minute you become suspicious, stop transferring any money, any further money, and as Wahidah has mentioned just now, if the transaction was done within 24 hours, call 997 immediately. So because previously we didn't have this mechanism, you know, because the you know, the law enforcement agency have now the banks, Negara, and PDRM all working together to try to see whether the ill-gotten gain can, it's not dissipated lah. They will try to freeze the money with it. But of course, it depends on how fast you report. Okay, so number one, do not input further money. Number two, call 997. Or if you have anything with respect to investment schemes and whatnot, if you need advice, you can call the SC. You can call the SC. We have a hotline, 03-6204-8999. Yeah, I'll repeat the number, 03-6204-8999, or you can drop us an email at aduan@secom.com.my. Yeah. So, so even we have a no wrong door policy. So even if you were to call us, even if people call us on love scam, on job scam, whatever, so our officers are trained to advise accordingly, and if we can't, we will then direct you to the right channel, to the right agency, the right channel. Yeah.
So Puan Wahida, so part of the MCMC's role is early on, as you mentioned, that you also do analysis, right, in terms of those to help in investigating a case, right? So would you have a gauge in terms of where would this scammer come from? Do they have like a school or something,
Of course, yes. They also have a dedicated school, yes. You can laugh, yes, but they do have a specific school that train them to become a scammer. Yeah, exactly. They operate as a center themselves. They have finance team. Macam kita lah, kita ada jabatan finance, kita ada jabatan enforcement, kita ada jabatan untuk kawal all the scripting. Yes, they do have. Surprise, right? Because they know exactly how to operate. In order for them to make us a victim, they need to learn as well. So that's why it is not that, I cannot say this on behalf of PDRM, but let me make clear. Right, so basically all these scammers, they are not residing in Malaysia. They reside outside from Malaysia. Whoever that PDRM currently caught, basically the center tu, dia tipu orang luar, outside from the Malaysian. So the center yang operate outside, dia tipu rakyat kita dekat Malaysia. So that's why currently through NSRC, we are engaging other regulator from other country, especially Interpol, Europol, to help us in orang kata apa, further investigate if it is involved inter-country punya kind of enforcement action to be taken against. Alright? So it is not as easy as that to caught them and bring them here because our law is different, right? So we need to collaborate further with the enforcement agency from outside of our country as well. And then we need to create the bridge. If example, particularly on the sharing of information is very crucial because without the information, we cannot facilitate further in our investigation. If we can't find and identify whether the scammer is residing in Malaysia or outside of Malaysia, it's really difficult for us to tracking them and then also to caught them. It's not easy as that. No.
Okay. It's not easy. They went to school for that, right? So how can we beat that? Anyway, when it comes to scam cases, there was a question comes from public, from the participants. Perhaps I can actually bounce it to Cik Jawahar. Can you please share the scam cases in unit trust industry?
Scam cases in unit trust industry. Okay, I wouldn't really call it scam per se, it all relates to or what we term as misconduct and possible fraud involving the unit trust consultants. If I were to talk about misconduct, as what I've said just now, the UTCs are involved or we call promoting unlicensed activities, unlicensed platforms. So don't do that. Okay. And number two, sadly, we are still seeing cases of money's cash being received by I've just said, that if there's one message that, one advice that I would like to give is that don't put money into individuals' bank account. But we see that, trust consultants are also still receiving cash. And one we see that even though some of the prospects or some of your clients are directed to bank in money into the intermediary UTMC, but then that the money is not credited into the what do you call, the client's account, but then it's being moved out. So I mean, we do see these things. I think it kind of goes without saying. I don't need to sit here and tell you that it is wrong, don't do it. But what I'm saying here is that we are still saying it. But as I said just now, you see, that there are billions being lost to scam. So we are trying to fight this. So if we fight this, that which essentially what it means is that there are a lot of money out there that the public have that can be channeled into the legitimate investment opportunities, and with that, the industry can grow. So for that, we need everyone, to play their role, including your good selves.
Okay, so there was this question about Bank Negara Alert List. It says that there's, besides Bank Negara Alert List, so I think people got confused between Bank Negara and the SC. Maybe you want to clarify that. So how can we identify some of the investment offer in the market as well as those that are regulated by the SC?
Well, of course, if you go to our website, I mean, we have our investor alert list, and concurrently we also have the register of licensed and registered persons. You see, so if you go to the licensed and registered person, you will see all the entities that are licensed by the SC or registered, depending on whether it's a licensing or registration framework. And then you can go to our investor alert list, and you will see all the names of the entities that are not allowed to. I mean, these are the entities that we have flagged as unauthorized. But one thing you have to remember is also sometimes we see a lot of these scammers, or a very common type of scam that we see is what we call the clone scams. You see, so what they will do is that they will falsely hold themselves out as a legitimate entity by the scammer will just give a fake certificate to say, oh, we are authorized by the SC, or we are authorized by the Bank Negara to go, but these are all fake certificates. So these are the things that you have to look out for. I mean, of course, we try. Previously, we take a bit of time to put it on our investor alert list, but now we are doing it almost real time. So we received something yesterday. Today, we try to make sure that it's already on our investor alert list. Yeah. So please make use of that tool for you to verify, to check whether an investment opportunity is legitimate or not.
Is there any chance for that name which is on the alert list to be removed?
Well, it has to be an exceptional circumstances,
But you've never done that before.
Yeah. I mean, I can't divulge our internal process in dealing with those things. But I can say that the odds are extremely remote. We don't remove it because at the material time of commission of the offence, you have done it. But we will we try to, because we believe it's a very powerful tool for the public to rely on. To not fall victim to scams.
So I'm going to take this question. It is said, what is FIMM's position? Because it's FIMM, right? So I'm from FIMM. So what is FIMM's position on cash trust with high guarantee returns? So for one, cash trust is not within FIMM's purview. It's not a capital market product. As you know, cash trust, as far as FIMM's role or scope is concerned, we only regulate marketing of unit trusts and private retirement schemes. So cash trust doesn't fall in either one of them. And for those people who wants to sell unit trusts as well as private retirement schemes, they have to be registered with FIMM, right? So that is my answer to that question. I hope whoever was asking about that question probably have a better understanding in terms of the scope or role of FIMM is. So we are already at 2 minutes. 2 minutes is going to be over very shortly. So before that, perhaps Pak Wahida, is there any parting words that you want to advise the public today that they can take away from this session?
All right. So basically, as earlier mentioned, so I think public also have important roles to play. All right. We can do a lot as a regulator, but the scammer become more and more sophisticated, and then their tactic evolve along with the technologies. I think all of you familiar, right, with the AI, machine learning and whatnot. So they are moving towards that. So we are seeing the trend and a threat using AI and ML as well. So I believe it is our time to play our part and disrupt the operation as a whole, and make sure to be suspicious in whatever transaction that involve in money, even though it is too good to be truth, like as session previously also mentioned, right? Yeah. So it's not true, all right? And then do your research, as mentioned by Tuan Jawahar juga. Kalau kata nak buat investment, go to the SC portal. Insurance, go to the Bank Negara portal. And then a lot of other agencies as well coming out with their own campaign in promoting this and providing awareness for the end user to be more vigilant and alert on any new scam and trend. And then the third one, be suspicious on any link that being forwarded to you. Sebab I think sekarang semua orang asyik forward je kan. SMS ke, email ke, everything being forwarded through WhatsApp, Telegram, or not. Be suspicious. As per directive from Bank Negara, it is involve financial institution, dah tak ada, no longer link provided in the content. So subsequent to that, MCMC also issue an administrative direction to the telcos. Tak boleh ada content yang ada hyperlink. Tak boleh ada content yang request for personal information. Tak boleh ada content yang ada number to call back. So if you saw these three element in the SMSs, ketahuilah. Possibility dia adalah scam adalah tinggi. Alright, so be aware on that. And then the last one, use a strong password and multi-authentication punya protection. Why? You need to control your own device. So once they instill malware in your smartphone or your devices, laptop ke, iPad ke, you are done. Why? Because dia akan 100% tahu what you are doing through your smartphone or through any devices yang dia dah instill the malware. Alright? Okay. So let's be more vigilant and alert.
Let's do that. Okay. So perhaps Encik Jawahar, your last takeaway.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I say this also in all the talks that I give, that we have devised a formula. We call it the TIPU formula, to help you to identify what is a scam, what is not. So it goes like this, the TIPU. T stands for tidak akan rugi, which means that any schemes that are promoted to you and it is said that, it is zero risk, you will not lose money, there's no such thing. All investment carries risk. Then indah kabar dari rupa, when the scheme is promoted so extravagantly, like with use of religious leaders and you see elements that are just too good to be true. That's another one. And peluang hanya sekali, because we notice that a lot of these scams, they use these pressure tactics. They will just say that, this opportunity is only available today. You must invest today, And the last one is untung besar. As I mentioned just now, 500 ringgit, you get 5,000 ringgit return. Ludicrous. There's no such thing. All right. So that is my parting words to all of you. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay. Before we close the session, sorry, I got to say something as well, right? Okay. No one cares about your money more than you do. So if you could, if you are in my generation, you will remember a song by Hatan which actually says this. No, I'm not going to sing because I'm not sure whether it's going to be a trick or a treat. So it says, zaman ini zaman duit, tak ada duit diri tersepit, tapi jangan jadi hamba duit, nanti musnah diri sendiri. Ada yang dipanggil ringgit, dolar, baht atau rupiah, semua itu duit. Bikin orang belit, duit di mana kau duit. So with that, on behalf of FIMM's organizer, I would like to thank our wonderful panelists, Encik Jawahar, Puan Wahidah, and our captive audience who are present either physically or virtually for participating in our session. Together, let's move towards making SCAMdemic a trick and not a trick. Assalamualaikum and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, everyone.